Do you think part of the problem is the daily recitation of groupthink, group rights? You get it a lot in our universities and colleges. You see it on television a lot. Politicians balkanizing the nation in order to empower themselves and their party and so forth. Isn't that part of the problem?
What I think you're pointing to is definitely maybe the overriding problem, which is, and we don't talk about it very much at all, is white guilt. And that keeps feeding whatever blacks are doing that's not helping them, thinking of themselves as nothing more than members of a group, of protesting and so forth. It's white guilt that keeps feeding that. What is white guilt? We always, we think, well, do I wake up in the morning and feel guilty about, black Americans? No. White guilt doesn't have anything to do with actual feelings of guilt. White guilt is the terror of being seen as a racist, as a bigot. That now pervades American life. All our social policy, our culture, everything is touched by this anxiety in most of white America. Understandably, given America's history, that they're vulnerable. They have this vulnerability to being disarmed of moral authority by being called a racist.
Why doesn't President Trump condemn racism? His own words and actions tell you why. He's a racist. Well, let me not mince words here. This president traffics in racism. Roseanne's tweet was straight up racist. And we have to stop pretending that this president has nothing to do with it, that he's not emboldening racist and racism.
I can use it as a weapon. I can say, I went on the Levin show. Let me tell you the way I was treated. And it explodes. So it constitutes, that is black power. White guilt is black power. They're virtually one and the same. And one of the big problems we have is that you talk about universities and political correctness and so forth. These are all ways in which white Americans say, I'm innocent. I don't feel this way. I'm not a bigot. I'm not a racist. I'm innocent. And white guilt causes this drive to prove and establish innocence. And so then we have a whole generation of black leaders who do one thing and one thing only: milk white guilt.
A man who is proved to be a white supremacist. This is white supremacy by ventriloquism. A black mouth is moving, but white racist ideals are flowing from Kanye West's mouth.
It was not a summit. It was a Make America Great rally. They used some young blacks as props.
It's white guilt is meant to disarm you of moral authority. It's when they scream racism all the time, they're saying you're a racist. You don't have the moral authority to deal with whatever issue or problem we're dealing with because you're a racist, and so therefore you are morally compromised. Because whites are still so vulnerable to that charge of being a racist, that is the power, all of the power of the American left is based on that guilt. The essence of American liberalism, I think, is the pursuit of innocence. Innocence of specifically the ugly American past. And that's why, because I am free of that ugliness and innocent of it, that's why you should vote for me. That's why you should let me change this aspect of the university system. That's why you should let me do any number of other things, not because I have better ideas, that I'm a better problem solver, but because I offer this identity of innocence.
On the campaign trail, you called yourself a nationalist. Some people saw that as emboldening white nationalists. Now people are also
I don't know
saying
why you'd
that
say
the
that.
president.
It's such a racist
There are
question.
some people that say that now the Republican Party is seen as supporting white nationalists
Oh, I
because
don't
of your
believe
rhetoric.
that. I don't
What do
believe
you make
that.
of that?
I don't believe it. Well, I don't know. Why do I have my highest poll numbers ever with African Americans? I love our country. I do. You have nationalists, you have globalists. I also love the world. And I don't mind helping the world, but we have to straighten out our country first.
But right now, since the 60s, white Americans have been guilty. And again, as I say, it's not that they feel guilt. It is that they feel this pressure, this threat. And so they behave guiltily. It's the behaving guiltily that is the problem.
There is still a silent majority who responds to these racially coded as probably the most generous way you would describe it.
He won, and he won, unfortunately, with a message that was racially motivated, that was false about this invasion of migrants.
But you know what? I'll use it anyway. Beautiful, handsome. Well, look at all these handsome faces. I'll use it. They both believe in us. They both believe in what we're doing, as do many others, many, many others. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. It's a movement of tolerance and unity and progress, and a lot of people don't understand that, but they're finding it out. They're attacking us because we are speaking the truth, changing people's minds, and proving every day that our policies work and that we are really doing what's right and what's good.
The freedom we have today is absolutely remarkable, and we as a people have not yet absorbed that. We've not absorbed the fact that our problem is no longer racism. Our problem is freedom. We have to learn to deal with freedom. And the only way to do that is that it's going to have to be grounded in individual responsibility. That's the only chance you have with freedom, is to take charge of your life and make a life for yourself.